Dear viewers, welcome to our channel JVS Bank Academy. Today I am going to discuss about JAB accounts paper 2 module B unit number 7 and unit number 8. Now first we are discussing on accounting concepts. These are the unit number 7 accounting concepts. At the time of following entering into the accounting records, accounting entries in the books of account, you have to follow these rules and regulations or guidelines. Now, accounting concepts, basically it has been divided into two: recording stage and a reporting stage. Recording and a reporting stage. Recording stage means at the time of recognition in the books. At the time of entering into the books, you have to follow the following guidelines, following concepts. That is called recording. Means at the time of entry recording in the books of accounts. That is called a recording stage. Now cost concept. First number one is cost concept. At the time of recording any transaction, whether cost incurred or not, only if any cost was incurred, that amount only you have to record in that accounting records. Cost was in any transaction not associated, not incurred with cost, that transaction we are not going to enter into the books. That is called concept. And if you are purchased any asset, that the cost of the asset, that is a cost. And transportation expenditure, installation expenditure, also cost of part of the cost of the assets. That's why whatever the cost incurred means that only you have to enter. If any transaction not incurred any cost, that item is not going to be recorded in the books. Number two, money measurement concept. At the time of recording, any transaction is measured with money measurement concept. Only every transaction recorded in the books must be measured in terms of money. So whatever the transactions we are recording in our books, that has to be measured in money. That a transaction only you have to record. So any transaction not measured with money, the transaction is not going to be recorded in the books. That is the qualitative information we are not recognizing that as money. That's why money measurement items only you have to record in the. This is called money measurement concept. Number three, business entity concept. This is most important. When proprietary different and business is different. Proprietary personally is different and business is different. Same manner, company is different, company shareholders are different. It means that even though the proprietor, sole proprietor is doing the business is different and his personal activities are different. And this business entity concept, capital introduced in the business, that is, we are creating into capital account in the business. That is called business. Profit is there. That is a liability to the business. That's why that is also business entity concept. Loss is there in the business. That is a debit to the capital account. So when any partner or any proprietor has withdrawn goods from the business, that also we are debiting to parties account. That's why business records are separate and parties personal records are separate. Both are different. That is called business entity concept. Even though sole proprietorship firm also, both are different. That is called business entity concept. Both are different. Now, fourth one is realization concept. Fourth one is realization. Whenever you are going to taking into income or earnings into books, the realized income or realized earnings are only into taking into consideration. Realized income or realized earnings are only going to be recognized under this concept that is called realization concept. Now, for one example is there, we are classifying the account as NPA, one account. What is the criteria for NPA classification? Income or installment income or interest income not received, not realized for 90 days. Not paid by the party, not realized by the bank, that is called. So when there is a realization is there, the account is going to continue. Income you are receiving, that income account is going to continue and performing. Where realization is not take place, recovery is not taking place, automatically the account is going to be turned to NPA. If realization of income not taken place within 90 days from its due date. So that is called realization. Income or earnings, realized income or realized earnings only you have to take. Unrealized income we cannot take into account. Unrealized gains we cannot take into account. That is called realized income or realized earnings only you have to take. Based on that concept you have to prepare the accounts. Dual aspect concept, fifth one. It is very simple. In the accountancy, each account, each entry, one debit, another credit. For example, we are paying rent. For example, debit P&L rent account debtor to landlord account, to landlord, credit landlord account. We are paying salaries, staff salaries. Debit bank P&L account debtor to credit staff, various staff accounts. So each entry two times. One is debit, another is credit. We are purchasing a plant and machinery or fixed assets. Debit plant and machinery or fixed asset. Credit cash account or supplier account. So these are the dual aspect, debit and credit. Each entry debit and credit. We are selling some goods on cash, cash account debtor to sales account. That is also there. We are purchasing some goods, purchase account debtor to cash. So purchase account debit to cash account credit. So each and every account item entry two times it had to reflect. Depreciation, debit P&L depreciation account debtor to credit plant and machinery account. That is called dual, two times debit credit. Historical record concept. Whenever any transaction is taking place in the books, date wise we are entering into the transactions, date wise. In the computer, if we can see, not only date wise, time wise also we are getting the, at what time the transaction, on the what day and what time the transaction has been taken place, because that credit goes to computerization. So because of this date wise recording of the entries, we can easily identify the transactions, and we can, what is the, when the transaction has been taken place. Otherwise, on so and so date, how many accounts we had opened, on so and so date, how much of recovery has been taken place, because of the date, how many years the bank has completed. When the establishment of the company, this company was established 100 years back. How we are saying that this 100 years back, that is the date of birth of the company, date of incorporation of the company. That's why whatever the transactions we are recording into the books, historical. Purchase of some asset, we are mentioning. Purchase of the asset. How many years the asset was purchased based on the record of historical. It is very useful for all the transactions. So these are the 1 to 6 are the concepts at the time of entering into the books of account. That is called recording. Recording means entering into the books at the time of preparation. Then reporting. After completion of the recording stage, now we are going to reporting stage. Now what is there? Financial statements are there. Balance sheet, P&L, cash flow statement. We are preparing the financial reporting means this is balance sheet, P&L and cash flow statement. We are preparing. Based after completion of the recording stage, for the disclosure purpose, Finally, finalization purpose, we are reporting stage, that is called reporting. Preparation of balance sheet, P&L, cash flow statement, various other statements. To the public we are reporting, to the Reserve Bank we are reporting, to stock exchanges we are reporting, to SEBI we are reporting, to the investors we are reporting. That's why after finalization of the final accounts we are reporting. That is there. Going concern concept. Whenever we are reporting, whether the concern is a going concern or not. This is one of the fundamental accounting assumption is going concern. Means every organization, every firm must have indefinite future. Going concern concept. If a firm or a company is not in the going concern, means almost the transaction is over. Gone concern. Gone concern means almost the company is in liquidation or the company was closed, the firm was closed, the individual was expired. That's why going concern means indefinite future. So, again, in the coming days, the unit, the company is going to work, continue for indefinite. That is the assumption. That is called going concern concept. Based on going concept only, we are doing so many valuations. We are doing so many things, assumptions. That is. Number two, matching concept. Because under matching concept, if you are finalizing your quarterly accounts, the income related to that quarter only you have to take. Same manner, expenditure also related to that quarter only you have to take. Matching period. Income or expenditure to that particular period only you have to take matching. January, February, March is the quarter. So income related to that quarter, expenditure related to that quarter only you have to take into concept. If you are not following matching concept, income we are taking for 6 months, expenditure we are taking 3 months. That is not matching concept. That's why what is matching concept? Income is for 3 months means expenditure is also 3 months. Then only we can judge the total income and total expenditure, either it is in loss or it is in profit, whether it is income surplus or it is in negative. That is called matching concept. Then accounting period concept. As per Reserve Bank of India guidelines, all banks have to prepare the quarterly profit and finally 31st March year-end accounts they have to declare. That is as per RBI Banking Regulation Act Section 29. Section 29, you have to publish the bank's balance sheet also. Same manner, company accounts are there. As for Companies Act 2013, all companies they have to prepare the yearly accounts. That is there. Then one more requirement is the listed companies in stock exchanges. As for SEBI listing agreement, listing conditions, all the listed companies they have to declare their results quarterly basis. Year end is March and quarterly June, September, December, and year end is March. So accounting period concept that is called. So normally in India, 1st April to 31st March is the accounting period, 1 year. In between the 1 year, we are interimly first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, separately and concept, and for the year total. That is called accounting period concept. On this question, they are asking, as per Companies Act, you have to prepare the accounts yearly. SEBI listing agreement quarterly you have to declare. As per RBI Banking Regulation Act, banks has to declare the result quarterly. All the listed banks, as per RBI as plus SEBI guidelines, you have to declare quarterly. That's why you have to follow the accounting period. This is it. And conservatism concept. Conservatism concept means any future losses are, you know that today, the next you are going to earn some losses that you have to book now itself. That is called conservatism. You know that NPA, today they have an account turned to NPA, means you are having some problem in that account. Why you are making a provision immediately? Because that is conservatism concept. NPA provision, what percentage as per the Reserve Bank of India guidelines on substandard secured 15% of outstanding, substandard unsecured 25% of outstanding, doubtful 1 secured 25, unsecured 100, doubtful 2 secured 40, unsecured 100. That is a part of conservatism concept only. Conservative. Second example, conservative concept, valuation of stocks. Valuation of stocks. Market price, today market price or cost of manufacturing, whichever is less, we are taking. That is also part of conservatism concept. Now, on the investments, banks are making fluctuation reserve. Fluctuation reserve, that is also concept of conservative. Means, conservative means future gains we cannot take now, and any future losses if you are identifying now, on a slowly pro rata basis, you have to make the provision. That is called conservatism concept. Best example, NPA provision. Second best example, valuation of stocks. Third best example is investment fluctuation reserve against investments. These are the some of the examples. Conservatism concept. Now, fifth 5, full disclosure concept. As of today, company they have to follow companies guidelines. Companies Act 2013. Banks have to follow Banking Regulation Act and RBI guidelines. Banks have to follow Basel 3. As for Basel 3, pillar number 2, Basel 2, pillar number 2, pillar number 3, sorry. Disclosure, market display. Quarterly bank has to disclose that one, number 1. Number 2, at the time of preparation of balance sheet of the banks, they have to give some minimum disclosure to the investment or public or to the government. So without disclosures, we are publishing the balance sheet as of today. That is very no use. That's why whatever the disclosures are required as per Companies Act, as per SEBI, as per stock exchanges, as per Reserve Bank of India, and as per Government of India stipulations. These minimum disclosures, all banks has to disclose along, all companies also have to disclose along with their balance sheet, P&L and fund flow statement. That is called disclosure concept. And the disclosures must be clear, concise and timely disclosure. Now something has happened, after 6 months we are disclosing, that is not no use for that disclosure. That's why always disclosure must be clear, concise, timely disclosure is important. That it is. Then 6.1 materiality concept. Materiality. This materiality concept has to be decided by the organization only internally. What is materiality means important. Whether any transaction is a materiality in nature, they have to disclose separately. Materiality or non-materiality things based on the size of the company, based on the volume of the business, based on the nature of the organization. So this is the internal thing. Only material means important things which are very, very important to the public, to the investor. That too they have to disclose. This has to be internal. They have to decide which one is internal, which one is material. They have to disclose. For example, as of today, we are not disclosing any transaction in paisa. Okay, that is immaterial. As of today, paisa is not having any value in the accountancy. That's why we are not reporting that is material. Second example, fire accident was taken place. There is a loss of 1 rupee or 10 rupees. That is immaterial. That's why the management of the company had to decide which one is material, which one is not material. Material thing they have to disclose separately. Then consistency concept. What is meant by consistency? At the time of reporting to the outsiders, the company has to follow same rules, same system, same procedures year after year. Today one procedure, 2019 one system, one method, 2020 one method, 2021 one method. If they are following, the company is not a consistency in reporting. That's why whenever any company or any bank or any organization reporting, they have to follow the consistency in their reporting. If any changes in the consistency of the reporting, any change in the method of reporting, yes, Sometimes there is a change in the reporting as per Government of India guidelines, as per accounting standards, as per Reserve Bank of India guidelines, as per SEBI guidelines. Yes, you have to change the method system, but you have to give a disclosure because Government of India guidelines, the method was changed from this method to this method. For example, one earlier you are following sale tax, service tax. Now GST, 1st July 2017 onwards, GST has been implemented. Now definitely you have to you have to follow the, no. As for consistency, I have to follow the service tax. No, that is not correct. So consistency means as per requirement, any government change is there, you have to follow that also, but you have to give a suitable disclosure because of Government of India instructions from service tax regime to you had moved to GST guidelines. So these are the consistency. I think this is enough for recording stage and reporting stage. This is the accounting concepts. Based on recording and reporting stage, your quality of the accounts, people will judge, investors will judge, regulator will judge the company methodology. Some companies, most of the people are investing in that company means their recording and reporting stage is good. Then, for as of today, longevity of the organization also, longevity of the organization, you have to follow all the rules and regulations as per the regulator. Then, if anything we are not following, so many companies are disappearing, that will happen. This is about accounting concepts. Now, unit number 8, account categories. In the accountancy, account categories. This is also most important for JAB examination. And this slide is very, very important for the entire accountancy paper also, not only unit number 8. Based on this concept only, categories only, you have to answer all the questions in the accountancy paper. That is there. What is there, you will see. Classification of accounts. Classification of accounts in the accountancy. Classification of accounts in the accountancy. In the accountancy, all the accounts are classified into 3. One is personal accounts. Second one is impersonal, that is real account. Third one is nominal accounts. Personal accounts, real accounts, and nominal accounts. This is one classification of accounts. Personal, real, that is impersonal, and nominal. Now, personal account, what is the golden rule? Personal accounts, whenever you are talking personal, what is the golden rule in the recording? Debit the receiver, debit. First, in the personal accounts, debit entry is debit the receiver, and credit side is credit the giver. Debit in the personal account, debit the receiver. Who is receiving, his account is debited, and who is giving credit, his account is credited. That is called credit the giver. Now, in the banking, particularly JIB exam is for banking. First, we will discuss banking. In banking industry, 90% of the accounts we are dealing with personal accounts. Any of the bank, we are discussing dealing with natural person, means individual accounts. Individual accounts. In the individual accounts, almost all 90% of the savings account are individual accounts. Deposit accounts are also, most of the deposit accounts are also individual accounts. But in the current accounts, that are the business accounts, current deposit. That's why most of the current deposits, personal or artificial accounts. What is meant by artificial? A current account in the name of company, ABC company. Current account in the name of trust. Current account in the name of society. Current account in the name of a firm, partnership firm, LLP. These are all artificial persons. Most of the current accounts are there in artificial account. Your bank is opening an account with other bank. That is also artificial account to that bank. So artificial means firm accounts, company accounts, partnership for accounts, LLP. These are created by us. Company created by us. LLP created by human beings. Company, trust, societies, all things will come artificial accounts. And representative personal account. Representative. What is meant by representative? Your branch was not paid rent for the month of March. For example, rent was not paid. So you have to make a adjustment entry on 31st March. Debit P&L, credit outstanding rent account. In that outstanding rent account, your landlord name will appear. To our landlord, for the month of March, we had not paid the rent. So here your landlord account is the representative personal account, number one. Number two, salaries outstanding. To whom the salaries outstanding? So 10 persons are there. All the 10 persons are representative personal accounts. To that entry, 10 persons we had not paid the salary. All the 10 persons outstanding people are representative personal accounts. These are there. So natural personal accounts means individuals, artificial means company trust, representative accounts means outstanding adjustment entries. Some person's name will appear. That is called representative personal. All the three are they are asking in the examination. The personal accounts. Almost the personal accounts are in credit side of the balance sheet. Personal accounts, credit side means liability side. Personal accounts are in the debit side of the balance sheet of the bank. If we are talking about the bank, that is the all your deposits, they is a credit side, liability side. All your current account, time deposit, savings account, credit side of the your balance sheet. That is the. Now, whenever you in any account, one savings account, one person is depositing the cash. Any customer is depositing the cash in his current account, savings account or deposit account. Now, your bank account, cash account is debited. Debit your bank account cash. Because your bank is receiving the cash. That's why debit the receiver. So, your bank branch cash is debited. Credit customer account. Credit customer account. Here customer is giving the cash to you. That's why you have to credit to customer account. This is called as personal accounts. Golden rule is debit the receiver, credit the giver. In all personal accounts, when a party is depositing the money, what you have to do? His account is going to be created and your bank cash account is debited. Now, second example, in these accounts, party is withdrawing the money. So party is receiver. So debit the party's account, debit the party's personal account and credit your cash account. Your bank is paying the cash to the receiver, personal accounts. That's why debit, whenever you are paying any deposit account, deposit money to the customer from his account, debit to his account, credit your cash account. This is called personal accounts. Personal accounts. Always personal accounts are in credit balances, liability side. The golden rule is debit the receiver and credit the giver. First, so this is about the brief about the personal accounts. Most of the accounts we are banking, we are dealing with 90% of the accounts are personal accounts only. Rule is debit the receiver and credit the giver. Don't confuse. Number two. Real accounts are impersonal. Impersonal means not a personal account. Real accounts. Now, normally, what is the golden rule in this accounting category concept, real accounts? Debit what comes in. Debit what is coming into the business. What is coming into us. That is called debit. Credit what goes out. What is going out. That is credit. This is the rule as debit what comes in and credit what goes out. That is the golden rule under real accounts. Real accounts. All real accounts are in debit balances only. Debit balances only. Number three, all the real accounts are appearing in balance sheet asset side only. Real accounts appearing in asset side. Now I am coming to second point. Tangible assets which can be seen, touch. These are tangible assets. What are the tangible assets? Land, building, plant, machinery, furniture, investments. Investments. All will come under tangible assets. What are intangible assets? Goodwill, patent, trademark, copyrights, which we cannot see, which we cannot touch. That is intangible assets. Intangible assets. Now, tangible assets are plant, machinery, land, building, furniture, features, and investments, bills receivable, stock also. Bills receivable, stock, everything will come under tangible assets. So, these are always in debit balances. Whenever you are purchasing any asset, debit what comes in, the asset is coming to the business. That's why debit plant and machinery, debit land and building, debit furniture, debit investments, debit stock, debit bills receivable, intangible assets. We are purchasing machinery for cash, machinery account debtor to credit cash account. Cash is going out. Tangible assets. Intangible assets. Also this. Tangible assets for tangible assets, fixed assets, accounting standard 10 we have to follow. Tangible fixed assets, accounting standard 10. Plant, property, plant and equipment, tangible assets, accounting standard 10. Intangible assets, accounting standard 26. So, what is the takeaway from the real accounts? All real accounts are in debit side of the balance sheet. That is called asset side. Number one. What is the golden rule? Debit what comes in, what is coming into the business. Assets are coming. This is the intangible. Fixed assets, intangible assets. Intangible means goodwill, patent, trademark, copyrights. These are the intangible. So, tangible and intangible total comes under real account. Both are appearing in balance sheet asset side. This is second point is over. Then nominal accounts. Nominal accounts. In our bank also, nominal account. Temporary. Nominal means temporary. P&L account. Every quarter we are closing the P&L. CD nominal. We are opening some entry. Today you are opening. Tomorrow we are closing. Nominal. So debit all expenditure. Whenever in your bank P&L, we are paying rent. Debit P&L rent account. Salary. Debit P&L salary account. Electricity bill, debit P&L electricity account, debit transportation charges, debit P&L transportation charges, debit insurance premium paid. So all expenditure we are debiting to P&L. Interest on advance, interest on deposits, that is a revenue expenditure, we are debiting to P&L. Bank P&L I am talking. And any loss is there, we are debiting to P&L. All expenditure and loss debit to P&L. And credit, when our P&L credit side, interest on deposits, interest on advances, sorry. Whatever the interest you are getting from advances, that is credit P&L interest on advances. Credit P&L commission, exchange, processing charges, discount received, locker rent received, bank guarantee commission received, profit from sale of fixed assets received. All things will come into P&L. Any gain we are getting from investment, that also P&L. Any profit we are getting from investment other, that is credit side of P&L. Any loss is there, today when investment sold, 5 lakhs loss is there, he will debit to P&L only. Any means expenditure P&L debit, loss P&L debit, all income and gains P&L credit. By the end of the quarter, credit side income and gains are more and your branch will be in profit. At the end of the quarter, expenditure is more than your income, your branch will be loss. Same manner, the bank as a whole also. So, all expenditure and losses, debit all expenditure and losses, credit all income and gains. This is the concept of accounting concept. They are asking 3 to 4 marks on this question. And in addition to the 3 to 4 marks, this is very important for your day-to-day advances management function also. This you have to understand carefully. So, thank you very much, viewers. This is a brief presentation. I think it may be useful to your preparation for your forthcoming examination. Thank you very much for all for watching our videos regularly. Thank you very much.